And on 2022 budget, the new adjustments to the 2022 fiscal paper as requested by President Muhammadu Buhari has been approved by the Senate. The approval followed the consideration of a report by the Senate Committee on Finance. Meanwhile, the Senate has also set up a 13-man committee to investigate cases of oil thefts in the country. The report.
Chairman Senate Committee on Finance, Adeola Solomon, in his presentation, said the total budget deficit is projected to increase by 965.42 billion naira, representing 3.99% of the gross domestic product (GDP). Adeola noted also that the chamber has approved the sum of $73 per barrel as proposed by President Muhammadu Buhari.
Oil benchmark of $73 per barrel be approved. 2. The oil production volume of 1,600,000 per day be approved. Petroleum motor spirit subsidy of 4 trillion be approved. A cut in the provision for federally funded upstream budget by 200 billion naira be approved. An increase in the federal government independent revenue by 400 billion naira be approved. An additional provision of 182.45 billion to cater for the needs of the Nigerian police force be approved. Domestic debt service provision of 76.13 billion and the net reduction in the statutory transfer of 66.07 billion be approved as follows.
On rising cases of oil theft, lawmakers blame the trend on economic downturn.
Why are we here is because there's a security failure. And we have to address that and ask ourselves, how soon will it take us to get out of this oil stealing, different embarrassing statistics about 85%, 95%. People just quote figures of the quantity of oil that is being stolen. And that's where we are. Mr. President, I think this is a painful vacation. And on a parting note for a vacation, this is not a happy place to be for the development of our nation. So this Senate should be on record, just like Senator Adetubi has said, to have insisted and to have noted that these negative trends have to be addressed very, very seriously by the executive arm of government. I am pained to say that from the way things are going,
from the presentation of the chairman here, which is what was presented to him from finance, what we have here is that it will be financed from the capital market. Mr. President, as far as I'm concerned, as far as we know, this does not exist. Mr. President, when you have a deficit as high as 7-point-something trillion, with a threshold of 3.99, which is totally and absolutely above the threshold as presented by the Fiscal Responsibility Act, it means that the budget ab initio cannot be implemented.
President of the Senate then urged the federal government to find ways of stopping the menace as it is doing the economy more harm than good. He also called for a stop to the importation of refined petroleum products so as to cut down on expenditures as well as maximize profit from crude oil sales.
Very germane and critical issues have been raised, especially in the area of how the economy is affected because of loss in revenue as a result of oil theft. And of course, the other macroeconomic issues are genuine and concerning. For me, I think we shouldn't play politics with this. The truth is, we need to find answers. And I don't think the answers are going to be easy to come by. Radical decisions would have to be taken.
Consequently, he has set up a 13-member adhoc committee to investigate oil theft in Nigeria, its impact on petroleum production and oil revenue. Senator Basi Akpan is to serve as the chairman of the committee.
This committee has a month, bring us the report on how the oil theft is going on, how we can mitigate it, and of course the resolutions that will help stop this.
We also mark the exit of Senator Abdullahi Adamu, Abubakar Kyari and Hassan Nashiha from the Senate. The Open Legislative Chamber on Wednesday held a special session for them. They all resigned their senatorial seats for the new assignment. The reports.
Until the valedictory sessions, Senator Abdullahi was chairman Senate Committee on Agriculture, Kyari was chairman Senate Committee on FCT, while Mohammed was chairman Senate Committee on Ecology. The valedictory session followed a presentation by the leader of the Senate, Yahya Abdullahi.
All this goes to show that we have a well-rounded politician, educationist, an engineer, administrator, and a governor who has blazed the trail and has demonstrated his feet on the ground and has been one of the pillars of the building of democracy in this country.
The lawmakers subsequently took turns to eulogize the former senators, urging them to replicate their achievements in their new offices.
President, what I want to urge them, as they go into the other side to serve the people, they must maintain this senatorial integrity. They must maintain it so that more and more distinguished senators, whether they are still serving or they are non-serving senators, will be called upon to serve in so many important offices in this country and even beyond.
He is eminently qualified for this job he's going to do now, because he has gone around. He started with the party, then minister, then governor, then senator, now party. So he's eminently qualified to lead this party to success 2023.
Duties. I thank you, Mr. President, and I thank my colleagues, especially. I thank the party, All Progressive Congress, for making the choice of their chairman or someone that the PDP has. Also the secretary of the BOT of the PDP. So we are happy.
Colleagues, we are here on a valedictory session for three of our colleagues, but it's largely a celebration of life, a celebration of achievements. Starting with Senator Abdullahi Adamu. Senator Adamu packed into an eventful life, a remarkably crowded lifetime of engagements in some of the major landmarks in the political evolution of this country.
So, distinguished Senator Adamu Abdullahi, distinguished Senator Abu Kyari, distinguished Senator Hassan Mohammed Gusau, take it that I'm also congratulating you like the rest of our colleagues. However, distinguished Senator Adamu Abdullahi, most people have addressed you in the language of politics. I will choose to address you in the language of law.
That the decision of my party was the best decision that we have taken, looking at the exigency of this time in our political life. I believe even our opponents can attest to the fact that we have products that can change the wheel of litigation to progress. With the coming of distinguished Senator, His Excellency Abdullah Adamu, who happens to be my father, and who happens to be one person that I had wanted to challenge and contest national chairmanship with.
The APC chairman, Senator Abdullahi, in his remarks assured that new senators elected to replace them will protect the integrity of the National Assembly in line with the guidelines of the ruling party from which they are elected.
Support, which added more than ordinary value to the decision to have me as the national chairman of our great party. I thank you all.
In his concluding remarks, President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawa, also eulogized the lawmakers for their devoted service to Nigerians during their period at the Senate.
First of all, I want to christen what I will say about our three distinguished colleagues as called to duty. Maybe near it will be vote of confidence on them, the personalities, and on the Senate and indeed the National Assembly.
Now, issues surrounding the proposed hike in pay TV tariff is far from over, as the President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, wants multi-choice Nigeria not for their Nigerians by going ahead of hike the tariffs of 8 products while the matter is yet being investigated. Inaugurating a 7-member ad hoc committee of the Senate headed by the Senate Deputy Chief Whip Aliyu Sabi, the Senate President warns that no foreign operators in the country should take Nigeria for granted. The reports.
On 30th March 2022, an investigative committee was set up by the Senate to checkmate the activities by multi-choice pay TV service providers. As the matter comes to the front burner this Wednesday, the Senate President Ahmed Lawa gives the rationale behind setting up the committee.
We want to see a win-win situation for both consumers and operators. But let me be very clear at this point. We are going to take on any operator who decides to charge Nigerians tariffs that are not charged anywhere outside this country. And I also want to add here that any operator, especially foreign, who doesn't want to respect and obey our laws should leave.
Earlier, the chairman of the committee, Senator Aliyu Sabi, said the investigation into the activities of pay TV service providers in the country is long overdue.
Service providers is long overdue as their activities over time has ripped off Nigerians of their hard-earned income. It is mind-boggling that barely 2 years of the price hike by the multi-choice, precisely in June 2020, which was followed by a big uproar by Nigerians, comes another unexpected increment without proper consultation with critical stakeholders. The incessant hike in tariff without recourse to constitutional authorities is a thing of great concern that calls for questioning.
Hopefully, it is expected that a more people-friendly tariff will be established after the investigation.
When Newslive returns, as the country continues unabated, federal lawmakers in the lower chamber said Nigeria is a failed state and calling for the resignation of the National Security Advisor. Details of these and more comes to you right after the break, so stay tuned.
my life always good. Though I just started and I'm still learning the basics. But I hope to be a pro in this game, and God being by my side, I know everything will be fine. I started 4 months ago. I started stick and ball 4 months ago, though I attended the riding course in Pakistan. I've learned the riding basics, but the game of polo 4 months ago, I started stick and ball. Every day we mount on the horse, we pray, and once we come down, as you can see, I was about ending and I fell from the horse. It's a normal thing. In horse riding, if you don't fall, you've not started yet. So you need to train. You can see I'm sweating, I'm eating banana, it's part of it. You must train, you must eat well, and you must learn properly. I've chosen polo to be my own sport, and I've always looked up to people like General Kazir Fire, General MSA Aliu, Colonel Waibello, and General Laka. A few of them, I've looked up to these people. These are great polo players, and they've always encouraged me to play the game of polo.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Newslive and Viewer Television. Now let's take a recap of our top stories. Senate approves President Muhammadu Buhari's revised 2022 fiscal framework. National Orientation Agency partners with non-government organizations in Bauchi State to promote federal government empowerment programs. Plus, Russia warns of nuclear buildup if Finland, Sweden join NATO. Now, as the killings in the country continues on about that, federal lawmakers in lower chambers says Nigeria is a failed state and calling for the resignation of the National Security Advisor. This is coming following a double attack in the space of 2 days in Plateau and Benue states, respectively, where many were killed, scores injured, and many homes destroyed. The reports.
Insecurity and terrorism has been a major challenge to the Nigerian government in recent times. But the recent killings in a village in Wase, Plateau, and that of Guma local government and Tiatu community in Taka and Benue has elicited grave reactions from federal lawmakers in the Green Chamber following motions brought by Yusuf Gadi from Plateau and Bem Nzudu from Benue State.
Nigerians are being killed on a daily basis, Mr. Speaker. Four angles of Nigeria, nowhere is safe. Mr. Speaker, what is beating my imagination more? Aside of the killing, is who is responsible. Why must we be chased out of our lands? Benue people are known to farm. As we speak, my people cannot go to farm. Hunger crisis is on the way. What again do we need to do? My governor has always been crying. The legislators from Benue have always been crying. Our senators are crying. Everybody in Benue is crying. What more does Benue need to do? We need to survive. The executive headed by Mr. President must know that Benue, our lives matter. Even when we raise the motion, it's sufficient for the state to act. But the other one, among the people that were arrested at the local committee who are their own informants and collaborators, one was communicating with them from the detention camp, communicating to the community, and assuring people that were going to go out. And at the end of the day, he got out. When he got out, his wife was arrested with drugs. I don't know how to explain.
The federal lawmakers say Nigeria is a failed state over failure to address the killings, as well as calling for the resignation of the National Security Advisor for his failure to detect these killings before they are carried out. They also blame members of the various House security ad hoc committees who have countlessly failed to submit reports to the House.
Until we stop thinking that everything has political coloration, we're not going to get anywhere. Because we have very well-trained personnel, security personnel. Why is the terrorists? Why somebody who cannot be able to see outside the box, or who believes in one particular tradition, I don't think we are going to get it correct. My solution is very simple. If the president means well to this country, and if we are really trying to look for solution, we have to immediately sack the national security advisor.
Playing the blame game now, it is a bit late in the day. We should put all our hands on deck to ensure that Nigeria moves forward and that security is installed once again.
They said the federal government must act decisively to save the country, as Nigerians are daily living in fear, despite having a government in place to protect them.
And on youth mobilization, the National Orientation Agency, NOA, says it is ready to partner with non-government organizations in Bauchi State to create awareness on the federal government's empowerment programs under President Muhammadu Buhari, which are geared towards easing the hardship of many Nigerians. Bauchi State Director of the agency, Yusuf Kobi, who stated this when he received members of the non-government organization Mafitha Women and Youth Development Initiative, says there are a number of programs by the federal government designed for women and youths, which, unless people form unions and associations, they will not be aware of it. Hence, benefits. Our Bauchi State correspondent Hawa Hassan completes the story.
It pains my heart that a woman cannot have 100 naira to settle a little challenge. I say, if this woman has a business that is doing, it will not come to this extent. This is one of our major focus, to make sure that housewives, they are engaged.
In Bauchi State of Nigeria, a group of concerned women formed an organization called Mafitha Women and Youth Development Initiative with the sole aim of empowerment and rendering assistance to those in need. They are at the National Orientation Agency Bauchi State Directorate to familiarize with the agency and seek for support where necessary.
Let me see how I can come out and speak to women concerning the need for them to be idle, for them to engage in one business or the other that can support them and their family. That is the main focus of this NGO, and is non-governmental, is non-political, is on its own.
For a long period of time, many Nigerians, especially the youth, believed that it is the responsibility of the government to provide a white-collar job for the teeming unemployed Nigerians. But on the contrary, this thought has become a mirage considering many challenges the country is going through. However, the government did not relent in coming up with a lot of initiatives aimed at providing succor and solace to the affected populace.
It is true that there is no work, no white-collar job in the country now. Everybody knows, because of some of the challenges we have been battling up in this country. And government have not abandoned its responsibilities. Government have come up with a lot of initiatives too that will train our various youth and women on skill acquisition, and then at the same time also make up a starter pack, or provide them with a starter pack to engage themselves in gainful living.
According to the NOAA Director Yusuf Kobi, this visit coincided with the plans of the agency to embark on a massive awareness creation campaign to sensitize people on many interventions of the federal government.
There are still other interventions by SMEDAN, NDE, ITF, Central Bank. Mention them, there are many. By the grace of God, we are going to sensitize you on it so that you can also sensitize your members for those who are interested in assessing this intervention. Some of them are grants, some of them are loans, and what have you.
The National Orientation Agency also promised maximum support and cooperation to Mafitha Women and Youth Development Initiative in order to achieve its ultimate objectives. Awolasan, Viewer TV News, Bauchi.
Now, the chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum and Governor of Ekiti State, Dr. John Kayode Fayemi, has paid glowing tribute to his Gombe State counterpart in Yahaya, describing his performance as incredible and superlative. The NGF chairman made the observation when he paid a courtesy call on Governor Inuwa at the Government House, Gombe. Christopher Luka from Gombe State tells us more.
The chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum and governor of Ekiti State, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, has held Inuwa Yahaya for repositioning Gombe State into the most preferred investment destination in Nigeria. Highlighting a number of challenges faced in the country, Dr. Fayemi says states have a part to play in bringing the country out of the woods.
Gombe is nationally regarded as the #1 state when it comes to destination for investment, and that can only happen if the leader has created an enabling environment for investors to find Gombe attractive. It's also one of the most peaceful states, relatively speaking, in a zone that is troubled and that is coming out of insurgency. As far as the national economy is concerned, well, our primary role as members of the National Economic Council and field commanders, if you like, for the President of Nigeria is to support him and support our country to get over these challenging times.
The NGF chairman declines from confirming or denying rumors surrounding his desire to declare for 2023 presidential race.
This is a very spiritual season for Nigerians. For us in Christendom, this is the period of Lent. And for people of the Muslim faith, this is also Ramadan. And very rarely does the two come together. Now they've come together in our country. It's a period that requires sober reflection. It's a period that requires a lot of deep thinking. I don't think it is a period for political declarations at a time that people are really into themselves.
Fielding questions from journalists, Inuwa Yahaya speaks on Gombe State's ambitious Muhammadu Buhari Industrial Park, which is a work in progress.
That is a very big project that covers 1,000 hectares of land that will go with all the infrastructure needed for industrial development. And so far we've reached about 55% on the first phase that we started work on earlier, and I believe very soon we shall complete it. And already we have received applications from serious investors. When I say serious, I mean those that are committed, that have evidence that they have something to put, and they are coming soon. So we'll see that by the end of the year, inshallah, some industries have sprung up in that area.
Dr. Fayemi is currently on tour of other states in the country alongside other top government officials. Christopher Luka, Viewer Television News, Gombe.
And on news around the world, the United Kingdom and Rwanda plan to seal a deal that will see asylum seekers who arrive in Britain flown back to Rwanda for proper documentation. The controversial agreement between the British and Rwanda's government, which the UK's opposition Labour Party calls unworkable and unethical, comes after similar agreement failed to be reached with Ghana and Albania. Under the plan, migrants would now have their asylum claims processed in Rwanda and encouraged to settle there.
Development partnership will mean that anyone entering the UK illegally, as well as those who have arrived illegally since January the 1st, may now be relocated to Rwanda. This innovative approach, driven by our shared humanitarian impulse and made possible by Brexit freedoms, will provide safe and legal routes for asylum while disrupting the business model of the gangs.
Now, former Russian President Dmitry warns that Russia would employ nuclear weapons close to the Baltic states if Finland or Sweden decide to join NATO. Now, he said he was the deputy chairman of Russian Security Council and president from 2008 and 2012, posted on Telegram that if any of the countries join, it would be more than double Russia's land border with the NATO members. The former president said Russia would seriously reinforce its group of ground forces and air defenses and deploy significant naval forces in the Gulf of Finland. Kremlin spokesman said when asked about the comment by journalists, said this has been talked about many times and President Putin has issued an order on reinforcing their western flank due to NATO's growing military potential. And that's all in Newslive, but before we go, recap of the headlines. Senate approves President Buhari's revised 2022 fiscal framework. National Orientation Agency partners with non-government organizations in Bauchi State to promote federal government empowerment programs. Plus, Russia warns of nuclear buildup if Finland, Sweden join NATO. Many thanks for watching. I am Jay Malik. Please stay tuned and enjoy the rest of our programs. Good night.